Prager University published a update on Dennis's condition. This is a conversation with the CEO of PragerU and Dennis's brother, Dr. Kenneth Prager. Here's the rest of it.
To take the tube out of his mouth and have the tube connected to his trachea, which frees up his mouth so he can move his lips, try to talk, and so forth. So he's at the stage now with his tracheostomy where they can actually take him off the ventilator for periods of time where he is breathing entirely on his own. He only has what's called a trach collar or a trach tent where he gets humidified oxygen, which provides him with oxygen, but he's doing all the work of breathing. Initially, it may be too difficult for the person to do all the work of breathing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So they may have him on the trach collar for 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever. And while he's on a trach collar, if he is strong enough, they can put a valve over the opening of the tracheostomy. It's a one-way valve. It enables air to go into his lung. But when he exhales, the valve closes and the air is exhaled via his vocal cords through his mouth so he can speak. And so it's called a passing-Muir valve, and it's a routine thing. And I think Dennis is at the stage now where he will soon be able to speak. When I was FaceTiming with him the other night, I said, Dennis, what are going to be the first words that you're going to say? Because it's going to be a big deal for everybody and for you. So with his lips, he wasn't able to talk them, but I was able to read lips. I don't hear too well, so I'm pretty good at reading lips. He said, what hath God wrought? And where did that come from? I think those are when they had the first telegraph across the transatlantic, I think that's it. So the person, Morse, who invented the Morse code and so forth, they telegraphed what had God wrought. I said, Dennis, you have to be more original than that. That's been there, done that already. You have to come up with something new. He smiled at that. So I said, you have a couple of days to think about what your first words will be. So we'll all be surprised and hear what Dennis has to say the first time he has a chance to talk.
Absolutely can't wait to hear him. I spent some time with him on Sunday. I was there for maybe 4 hours, and it just feels like he's bursting with stuff that he wants to share with us. And I was asking him a lot of questions, and he responded to some of them. And, Dennis is still Dennis, which is what's so amazing about, Dennis Prager, is that this is a very serious injury, and he knows it because he's totally with it. But he is still that same joyful fighter that we know, and I think it's what's giving him the courage to get through this, and it's giving us the hope that he's gonna make it out of it, and we'll be able to hear him, as you mentioned, on the radio again and in our shows again, and just to learn from him through this experience. He's told me that he has a new perspective on life, which I don't know what could it possibly be, because Dennis has such an amazing perspective on life, but as you said, we just can't wait for him to come back and share some new wisdom that he has, and I'm sure a new perspective given what he is going through physically right now. A physical experience like what Dennis is going through certainly gives you wisdom in different ways.
So Marissa, you make a very important point that is Dennis's attitude right now. I can tell you that when my son Joshua had the exact same spinal cord injury, he was 19 years old, at the peak of youth and vigor, and a fantastic athlete. This was a devastating, you can just imagine how devastating that would be to him, as it was for me. And he never felt sorry for himself, was never depressed. He was determined that he was going to get as well as possible and carry on with his life. And that has stood him in such good stead to this day. And Dennis, I must say, I even asked Sue early on, I said, is Dennis aware of what has happened to him and what this injury is? And she said, yes, absolutely. So as you said, Marissa, he's got still that joie de vivre, the love of life. He is alive, thank God he survived this. And he's not, I don't think he's going to be the kind of guy who's going to just sit and be sorry for himself. And that's so critical. I think it impacts on your physical wellness as well. Lapsing into a depression, feeling sorry for yourself, why me? is a bad prognostic sign for you physically as well. And I don't see that with Dennis. I'm very happy to see that. And when we do FaceTime, he looks like Dennis. I mean,
Yeah.
you're right. His sense of humor, his whole demeanor, you can just tell from his facial expression that he's going to fight this and do the best he can and make the most out of a very tough situation.
Yeah, it's hard for some of us to believe that Dennis could become even wiser and even smarter, but it just seems like he has new wisdom to share. And so, God willing, we'll be hearing from it soon. Doctor, for those who want to pray and use the Hebrew names of your parents for Dennis's prayer, what are they?
So Dennis's Hebrew name is Shmuel Nehemiah, Samuel Nehemiah. Shmuel Nehemiah, Ben, the son of, and we use the mother's name when you're making a prayer for somebody who is ill. Hinda is my mother's name. Her English name was Hilda, not exactly a poetic name, but Hinda. So it's Shmuel Nehemiah ben Hinda.
Dr. Prager, thank you so much. We'll continue to pray. And really, thank you for being so transparent and open with us. It's something about your family that is, you're always so generous with the truth and your openness. And I think it's partially why we all feel like an extension of yours. So bless you, and thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, I saw Dennis a couple of weeks ago, and since then, I believe he's made even more progress. There's no question that his sense of humor was still there. He was alert. He was clear-eyed. His vision was good. His hearing was good. His memory was good. His spirits were good. And as I said, his sense of humor was still there. I remember reading an article some time ago about people that suffer serious injuries in battle. And a nurse who attends them was asked about their spirit, their attitude. And she said, well, the military people that were upbeat, positive, and happy about life, after a time, they regained that same level of spirit. And those who were morose and moody and dark regained that same level of spirit. Dennis is one of the happiest people I have ever encountered. Thanks for watching these clips from The Larry Elder Show. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment. More thought-provoking discussions are just a click away, so stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.